The first time I encountered Guernica by Picasso, the original Guernica, was in 1979 at MoMA. I was so taken. It was such a powerful experience because my experience of artwork in my previous experiences go to the National Palace Museum in Taipei, and beautiful silk painting on the silk of the birds and palaces, and now it's this kind of monstrous, gigantic painting of cows, of a lady holding a dead baby, crying, of disturbing images, and I didn't know what to make of it. My mom was telling me that artwork could be something very beautiful, something very traumatic, and something very political. So this is one of those artwork. It really stayed with me. And it took me all this time to come up with a project called Guernica in Sand in order to talk about the idea of creation and destruction, the coexistence of these two entities, and could something different come out of something so horrific, such as the bombing, such as war. When Guernica in Sand is presented at Gropius about this time, it has a slightly different and obvious political message embedded in it, mainly because of the role Berlin and Germany played in World War II and the German Air Force. So, as we all know that the bombing of the village Guernica in 1937 was done by German Air Force. The order of bombing it, physically, it's quite close to the building Gropius fell. So that's why it has a political undercurrent to the work. This time, it's the biggest installation of Guernica in Sand. As you can see, the color of the sand we use is also inspired and in response to the building itself. We are lucky enough that you could see the work from the second floor looking down, and that completely, it's a very different experience from all the other institutions because we never have this chance of examining this huge sand painting from a different angle. The work was installed right before the shutdown of Berlin in the COVID-19 crisis. When the museum opened again on May 11th, 2020, the work is ready to be received. It's almost like Sleeping Beauty, waken up by visitors who came to visit Gropius. The project Guernica in Sand is actually quite a fairly simple performance piece. The first part of the work is you just come and see the whole sand painting undisturbed. There's a small portion of the sand painting that is unfinished. The second part of the work is the physical performance of the work. From 12 o'clock onward, for the next 5, 6, 7 hours, depending when the sunset is, someone is going to be finishing the last part of the Guernica while one person from the audience is invited to walk onto the sand painting. The juxtaposition of someone who is walking and someone who is creating or finishing the work the tension is tremendous. It's up to you to decide who is doing the creation, who is doing the destruction, or could this person who seemingly is walking onto the same painting could be also creating something beautiful. At sunset, myself and 3 other colleagues, performers, each one of us had a broom and we brushed the sand toward the middle, and that finishes the second part of the work, which is the physical performance of the work. The first time I created Guernica in sand was at Michael Hugh Williams' beautiful gallery called Albion in London, 2006. It was a life-changing experience. The first person who walked onto the sand painting when I was finishing up the last part of it was my mother. I remember both of us were sobbing at that moment of the creation, destruction, the mingling of experience and time. The reason why I was in tears is it's a hugely complex mixed emotion of sadness of seeing this thing transforming, of my mother who was walking on it, and of her, in a way, owning the piece by stepping onto it. And of her in tears, because whatever it was going through her mind, I'm sure also to see her son in tears, that also made her tearing up. So that moment was a very powerful moment for both of us. This project has been performed in quite a different cities and countries and institutions. Now it's 2020. Now I don't cry when I do the performance, but hugely inside it's still very, very traumatic for me. I think in 2020, we are experiencing something extraordinarily turbulent in many, many different ways. Presenting this work at Grappiasbound, March of 2020, again, I want you to have your own way of experiencing and remember and see the work. And each one of us will have a different memory and vision of this work.